Growing, preparing, and tasting Iowa foods are just some of the ways we showcase our state on Iowa Ingredient. We also like to get out and explore and experience some of our fun and fascinating agricultural and food-centric events and destinations. I'm Charity Nebbe. On this special episode of Iowa Ingredient, we're going to hang up our aprons and leave the kitchen behind as we hit the road to visit places like Miss Effie's Flower Farm, the Iowa State Fair, and Fayette's Watermelon Days, plus a few more foodie hotspots. Oh, the places we'll go next on a special Destinations episode of Iowa Ingredient.
Funding for Iowa Ingredient is provided by the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust, Chef Lisa Laval of Trellis Cafe and the River Center, and Chef Michael Laval of the Des Moines Embassy Club. For more than 100 years, the Des Moines Embassy Club has provided a place to dine, celebrate, and do business, located in downtown Des Moines and in West Des Moines. And the Friends of Iowa Public Television Foundation.
A beautiful Iowa landscape can soothe the soul. Time spent in nature or a lovely garden can be enjoyable and even restorative. So join us as we start our food-centric adventures in a unique and gorgeous agricultural experience in eastern Iowa. Miss Effie's Country Flowers and Garden Stuff is a you-pick flower farm in Donahue, Iowa. Visitors are handed clippers and a bucket and invited to take their time exploring the farm.
We started this in 2002. My husband and I wanted to figure out a way that we could make some income off of our 2 little acres out in the middle of the country. And I wanted to connect women with agriculture again, but I didn't think in 2002 I could do it with green beans, but I could do it with flowers. And so we started a 20 by 20 patch of you-pick flowers, and people came. Part of our shtick is that you can cut flowers from anywhere on the property. Our main cutting bed is roughly 80 by 80, but we have lots of little gardens tucked in along the side. It gives them a little bit more of an experience of walking through a big garden and cutting whatever they want, rather than going to a designated patch and saying, oh, you can only cut these. So they feel like little kids again and stealing the blossoms that they were never supposed to pick. Hey, girls.
Miss Effie is a fictional character created with Kathy's grandmothers in mind. It's important to her to preserve their way of life.
A lot of women understand where their food came from. And we as mothers, and particularly my age of women, we became the frozen TV dinner hamburger helper generation because it was easy to fix when we got home from work. And so we've raised generations of daughters that can't cook. And that is part of our mission, is to share that information.
It's the LaFriend's creativity that makes this place special. Thanks to Cliff's engineering talents, they've been able to add many features to the property over the years. The Summer Kitchen is a retail store where Kathy sells farm-fresh eggs and other local treats and treasures.
I had wanted an old corn crib, because I thought an old corn crib would make a great gazebo. So I'd go and I'd start knocking on doors, and when I'd see one in somebody's backyard or pasture and say, are you willing to sell me your corn crib? And in true Iowa farmer fashion, anybody that still had an old corn crib wasn't going to sell it to me because they might need it someday. And finally I found one, but it has become this incredible party spot. We invite our customers to bring a picnic lunch and just sit in the corn crib.
More than anything, Kathy hopes to offer visitors an experience, a way to go back in time, to relax and to slow down.
It is this great life here. I love seeing the kids play on the swing. That is one of my favorite parts. Fills us with joy because it's so simple. I love it when people think of this as a beautiful setting. They suddenly get what Grant Wood was looking at because of our hills and the different shades of green that we have. And I love seeing that knowledge click with them.
Iowans relish the chance to eat a wide variety of interesting foods at the Iowa State Fair. It's a must for food lovers. It's a carefree summer indulgence.
Very good. Doesn't that look good? Nice and fresh. Thank you very much.
To taste new flavors of the Iowa State Fair. Or to return for a yearly favorite.
Every year at the fair, we'll sell well over 11,000 turkey legs.
Thank you. Enjoy.
As you pay for your food and peek inside what can sometimes be a very small food vendor space, you might wonder how some of these fair goodies are made. Are they cooked on site? Are they assembled elsewhere?
We have this wonderful turkey leg roaster that we have behind us. This is an Iowa grill made in Holstein, Iowa. And we use Iowa turkey drumsticks that come from Storm Lake. They're smoked in LaPorte City. And then we place them on this grill and we slowly roast them and heat them right on up, and they're just absolutely delicious and juicy.
So all of the stuff you make here is frozen and then dipped in chocolate on site. Why is that fresh dipped chocolate so important?
Yeah, well, we think it just tastes better, and we think it's fun for the customers to be able to see their dessert actually fresh dipped in chocolate right then and there.
Ooh, look at all that chocolate, just dripping.
The State Fair food vendors are usually quite happy to give ingredient details to customers. So if you're curious about how something is made, what's in it, or where the ingredients come from, just ask.
It's extremely healthy. It's got strawberries, a little bit of sugar, water, ice, and that's it.
We do pizza margarita, which is just a plain cheese pizza, and it's probably the best thing that we have. And it can be topped with either mushrooms, green peppers, pepperoni, or our very own homemade hot sausage, which is a recipe that my great uncle Joe Montanese made for 40-some years here in Des Moines.
Thank you. Great.
From refreshing cold treats
We get 2 of the shrimp corn dogs.
to uniquely crafted foods on a stick, fair time is the right time to fulfill your culinary dreams, whether you're curious about the ingredients or just want to chow down.
There you go. You're welcome.
The Iowa State Fair isn't just for eating. It's also a place to show off that perfect produce you've grown and even win a ribbon. Here's a peek inside one of the hundreds of food contests at the Iowa State Fair. The best tasting tomato.
Today is the best tasting tomato contest, and participants are supposed to bring in 2 tomatoes, 1 to cut, 1 to show if they win. There is a first and second prize. The judges base solely on taste, so they don't know what variety it is or who brought it in. It's kind of secretive the way we do it.
I use my wine tasting technique when I do it. I don't know what these guys look for exactly.
And we all have things that we like best, but I think one of the things that's most important is I always check the aroma, and there's a ripeness and a little bit of, it should smell a little bright and have a little bit of funkiness to it at the same time. But I don't personally like tomatoes that are very sweet. I think they have to have some acid.
It can't be mealy, and I'm looking for a kind of a very solid tomato flavor. To me, I only get that when it hits my tongue. So I don't do a lot of the smelling or that sort of thing, but that's what I'm looking for. It's just, I want that burst of tomato flavor.
I am an heirloom fanatic. That's really most of what I plant, trying different ones each year, so it did my heart good to see an heirloom win. I think this is probably the first time in 3 years that's occurred. The next time I would like to see someone bring bacon so that when we're done with the contest we can enjoy the bacon with the tomato taste. I would appreciate that.
In Northwest Iowa, there's a tasty celebration you can attend. It's Lamar's Ice Cream Days, an event that brings together locals and visitors to enjoy good times and creamy treats. With sweltering summers, cool Iowa ingredients are always a welcome relief, if not a requirement for some. So, is it really a surprise that an Iowa town is the ice cream capital of the world? Welcome to Lamar's, home of Wells Dairy, the world's largest producer of ice cream. As the ice cream capital of the world, it only makes sense that Lamar's would have a festival that celebrates all things ice cream. Every third weekend in June, Lamar's hosts Ice Cream Days, a town-wide event that has gained worldwide recognition. The 4-day town festival celebrates in the best Iowa tradition, with family activities, events, entertainment, and of course, a lot of ice cream.
We've been celebrating Ice Cream Days really since 1995, but it traces its roots back to 1986.
It's been a big activity, very popular, and Lamar's and the surrounding area seem to enjoy it. Got a whole calendar of events out for about 4 days worth. It's a lot of fun and enjoy it.
Ice Cream Days is packed full of family fun. Activities, displays, events like a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, cookouts, a parade, and ice cream art. But perhaps the most popular event of the week is the Ice Cream Social.
Got to get the ice cream a little bit soft before you start scooping, otherwise it's just not going to come out right.
During the Ice Cream Social, people enjoy an evening of live music, a Ferris wheel, and a mini train for the kids, with plenty of free ice cream sundaes for everyone.
The free ice cream is pretty nice. Yeah, I would have to say the cookies were fantastic.
Yeah. We had a huge turnout, just doing some of the quick estimates afterwards. We went through about 135 gallons of ice cream. We served 1,750 bowls, kind of trying to do some quick estimates based on average serving size. We think that number at 1,750 is right on the nose in terms of the number of people that were there.
The Wells Company has made ice cream in Iowa since 1913. More ice cream is produced in Lamar's than in any other city in the world, and Wells Dairy is still a privately held, family-owned business. Today, ice cream connoisseurs throughout the country can choose from close to 500 ice cream flavors, but everyone still has their favorite.
Oh, my favorite is vanilla, plain vanilla.
Bunny tracks.
Chocolate.
Cookies and cream and
Chocolate.
strawberry and chocolate chip and, well, you get the idea.
Well, almost everyone. Lamar's definitely finds the sweet side of life every June. Ice Cream Days not only celebrates a delectable Iowa ingredient, but shows how town events like this strengthen ties in Iowa communities.
I think it's fantastic. Lamar's is really like a special town.
there's no other town in the world that does this, and at least like the scale it does this, and with Wells and the tradition.
The event itself celebrates ice cream, obviously the tie between Wells and the community. This is what Iowa is about. It's about family, it's about embracing what you have, it's about inviting people to come to your community and see the different things that you have to offer, and just tying what we, I think, hold dear in terms of values and really celebrating those things.
Let's go back in time now to experience the food scene at a historic dinner at Living History Farms. Living History Farms is an outdoor history museum in Urbandale, Iowa. Summer here is all about spending time outdoors and learning about life on the farm. But when the colder temperatures arrive, it's time to settle in next to a warm fire and enjoy some good food. From October through April, Living History Farms offers historic meals in 3 different styles and settings. For guests of the 1900 farmhouse, the evening begins with a horse-drawn wagon ride.
Well, when visitors come to a historic dinner at Living History Farms, they can really expect a 2.5 to 3 hour experience. It's not just a dinner, you're actually going to learn a little bit about history because you're going to be served by historic interpreters who are actually in period clothing.
Like I said, the team of Percheron draft horses, and that would have been the most popular breed of draft here in Iowa at the turn of the century.
Once their eyes have adjusted to the lamplight, the visitors immerse themselves in the early 1900s with an authentic farm dinner. Much of the meal is prepared over a wood-burning stove and is served family style.
Okay, guys. Welcome to the table here at 1900. You guys are having a roasted ham dinner this evening, and ham would be common here in a 1900 farm. The peas are called French peas, and in 1900 it was the end of the Victorian times. If you could make your meal sound a little bit French, that meant it was fancy. The other vegetable you have, the orange-colored one, is a very seasonal vegetable for this time of year. It is a mashed winter squash. A lot of time is kind of what goes into it. I usually tell the guests that the recipes aren't particularly difficult, but it's the amount of time that you might put into doing Thanksgiving dinner.
It's a good idea to come hungry because there is a lot of food. After dinner, guests are offered a chance to stretch their legs with a barnyard tour.
These are a couple of our sows that we've got here at the farm. Their job is solely to make more pigs, but pigs would be the cash crop on a turn of the century farm. 150 pounds.
Another experience at Living History Farms takes us back in time just a little further to 1875.
Well, welcome to the Tangen House. We're so glad you came to dinner.
Things are a little bit fancier here at the Victorian Tangen home.
My name is Lucy, and I've been your cook this afternoon, so if you have any questions about any of the food, be sure to ask.
Guests are treated to several dishes here: soup, roast pork, pureed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, French peas, dinner rolls, and a marbled spice cake with pears and whipped cream for dessert.
We hear that it's just really a chance to just step back in time and just learn about what it would have been like to have lived in the respective time period. People love the food. The food is, made with real butter and lard and all the delicious food, the ingredients that we used to cook with more. After your meal, you're going to go into the parlor and you're going to play some Victorian parlor games.
Okay, you may now open your eyes and stand up and hug the pillow.
And just people really enjoy whether they're booking a reservation for 2 people wherein they're going to meet new friends at the table, or if they're booking the whole table and it's a family experience. It's just really a memorable time for everyone who comes out here.
What better way to learn about where our food comes from than at a local Iowa farm crawl? Every year, on the first Sunday in October, people enjoy a leisurely autumn day crawling from farm to farm. 7 independent family farm operations jointly host open houses, welcoming visitors to their farms for an annual farm crawl. All are within an easy crawl or drive from each other in south central Iowa.
This year is our 8th annual farm crawl. We already had some customers in Des Moines who were interested in coming down. We thought, well, maybe other people would be interested in seeing things. So we said, well, we'll do a lot of the organization if you come and participate. And then that first year, who knows, 50, 100 people we were hoping for, and it was like 550 plus in that first year.
A growing interest in how our food is raised brought over 2,000 visitors to South Marion County and North Lucas County to see each operation this year. The participating farms were thrilled with the large crowd. Some reported selling 30% more products than in previous farm crawls.
I think it's a great family experience. People get to bring their children. They can touch the animals. They can see the animals. They can see how things are growing. And then they get to see lots of different things. So it's not like just coming to our farm, but it's coming to our farm and a pumpkin patch and an apple orchard and a goat dairy.
We've had kids come out here who really, we had a kid say, I didn't know that carrots grew in dirt. They thought they didn't know where they grew from. They just never associated they grew in dirt. So there's so much of a disconnect for some people. And other people, they have grandparents or parents or uncles that used to farm and they grew up on farms and they just love coming back.
People can tour the farms, play with the animals, meet the farmers, see demonstrations, sample the goodies, and purchase locally grown and produced products. It's a chance for the farmers to showcase what they do and why they do it.
It's just awesome to get them out so they can see where the food comes from. They have a chance to purchase it. They have a chance to sample it and try it and just make the connection to where it is. You know, we're not trying to sell the highest dollar thing. We want to have meat that's accessible to the community, not only in purchasing it, but also in seeing it raised. Our grandparents talk about food that was really good when they were kids, and you know, some of my generation hasn't tasted that. So I think it's as much about the taste as it is about the health and the values as well. We want to be known as people that raise great tasting food as well as humanely raised food.
Guests can travel from farm to farm on their own timetable. They can choose to visit all 7 or go to just a few. And some have even been inspired to bring the farm home with them.
We became gardeners. We went home and dug up half the backyard and started gardening ourselves because we came to understand how important it is to eat locally and eat food that we grow in our own backyard. It makes me feel like a better citizen of the universe.
In its 8th year, the participants are looking forward to holding many more crawls. Some describe it as a much-needed thank you hug toward the end of the growing season.
Thank you very much.
Watermelon has been cultivated for thousands of years, and in Northeast Iowa, watermelon is at the center of a decades-old celebration. For decades, on the weekend after Labor Day, a small town full of patriotic residents, excited kids, dogs, babies, stunt-driving Shriners, a waving mayor, a caboose-riding candy thrower, and of course Miss Fayette have gathered to celebrate Watermelon Days. In this town of about 1,000, which includes students from Upper Iowa University, free watermelon is definitely a highlight.
The Lions Club serves it up, so that's the best part, right?
But this 3-day gathering is more about celebrating the community, the people who live here, work here, and raise families here.
Everything is around free family event.
Those in attendance can enjoy a parade, free face painting, free inflatables, free entertainment, and for a limited time...
Can I have a piece?
Yeah, absolutely. Help yourself.
All right, thank you.
Free watermelon. Donations from folks who live in town and the area fund this annual event, and a warm sense of community keeps it going every year. Just another way food brings people together. That's it for this special Destinations episode. I'm Charity Nebbe. See you next time for another food celebration on Iowa Ingredient. Keep in mind that circumstances are always changing, so please take a moment to check ahead if you're planning to visit a restaurant, farm, or event featured on the show.
Funding for Iowa Ingredient is provided by the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust, Chef Lisa Laval of Trellis Cafe and the River Center, and Chef Michael Laval of the Des Moines Embassy Club. For more than 100 years, the Des Moines Embassy Club has provided a place to dine, celebrate, and do business, located in downtown Des Moines and in West Des Moines. And the Friends of Iowa Public Television Foundation.